Greg Wyshynski, Emily Kaplan, ESPN and Ice is the podcast. Winners and losers of the NHL free agent frenzy is the video you're watching now. Emily, give us a winner and a loser so far when it comes to the NHL's off-season feeding frenzy on free agents.
Greg, how can we not pick the Buffalo Sabres as the big winner here? Taylor Hall was the big free agent fish when it came to forwards, and he had options. The Golden Knights were interested, the Bruins were interested. Taylor Hall said his number one priority was to win, and so he chose the Buffalo Sabres with the longest playoff drought in the NHL. Now, we've come to understand a little bit about this decision. He wants to play for a coach, Ralph Kruger, that he's played for before. Jack Eichel has a history of juicing up his wingers' numbers. He likes the ownership is committed to championships, and there's a lot of good pieces there, he says. But while it's puzzling, we have to pick the Buffalo Sabres as a winner because, frankly, they're relevant again. A loser, meanwhile, it's the Chicago Blackhawks, and specifically their veteran core. You know, Chicago was feeling really good about themselves after they made the playoffs last year. Their young guys got experience. They felt like they were finally retooling on the fly. And then everything they did this offseason suggests the opposite. They trade away Brandon Saad and have to, retain $1 million of his salary. They snub Corey Crawford. He's devastated when contract negotiations fall apart. They're going away with the young guys. And pretty much everything says that they're rebuilding. And it sounds like the core is pretty upset. Jonathan Toews telling The Athletic that it is a shock because it's completely different direction than he expected.
Yeah, I mean, they were just in the postseason. They won a round. What happened? Winners and losers for me, winner without question, Alex Pietrangelo, defenseman, the belle of the ball of the free agent defensive market. He tried to go through the media, convince St. Louis to retain him. He's the captain. He was the first Blue to ever hoist the Stanley Cup. But his contract demands were not what GM Doug Armstrong was going to agree to. Well, he looked around and he found a team that would agree to them, the Vegas Golden Knights. He gets his 7 years. He gets his full no movement clause. He gets $35 million in bonus money of the $61.6 million that he has on his contract. And he finds himself on a Stanley Cup contender in the Western Conference and in a place where he said his family would like to live. So got to give Alex Pietrangelo in a COVID influenced economic landscape market, finding a place to get the years and the money that he was looking for and in the contract that he wanted. Now, flip side of that, Kelly McCrimmon, GM of the Golden Knights, is a loser for me. Now, it's hard to say that when you get one of the best defensemen in hockey on your roster, but at what cost? The $8.8 million cap hit is going to have repercussions. We've already seen Paul Stastny traded away to the Winnipeg Jets in a salary dump. We've seen Nate Schmidt traded away to the Vancouver Canucks in a salary dump. Two very influential players in that locker room and part of the Golden Knights DNA. And then on top of that, he misread the goalie market. Marc-Andre Fleury and his $7 million cap hit remains on the roster. Hard to really figure out where he might go. And so McCrimmon basically said, look, we're going with Robin Lehner and Marc-Andre Fleury as our goalies next year. Yes, Robin Lehner, the guy we signed to a 5-year, $5 million against the cap contract, and Marc-Andre Fleury, whose agent tweeted out a picture of him with a sword in his back with the coach's name on it. You remember that whole thing, right? So they commit $12 million to their goaltending next season. They still don't have the center that I think they need to really become a cup champion caliber team. And I don't know. I feel like McCrimmon overplayed his hand, even though he ended up with one of the best players of the offseason free agent market. Listen to much more of this on the ESPN and Ice podcast. For Emily Kaplan, I'm Greg Wyshynski. Talk to you next time. Thanks.